So, right, there's this guy, and his name is Goldie Roger, right? He's like a really cool guy. He's the king of the pirates. He's the most pirate ever. Like, he's sailed around the entire world and he's got all the treasure. But he's he's being executed, right? He's being executed, and when he's being executed in front of this whole like big crowd of people, they let him talk for some reason, and he's like, if you want my treasure, you can have it. I left everything in one piece. Well, he doesn't actually say that in the manga, I think, but that's like in the translation, and I think in the live action he says I've left it all in one piece because that's like that's convenient for the you know the it's One Piece. It's the One Piece show, right? So, and that it's like a billion people in the crowd, there's people watching all over the world, and they're like, okay, I want to go get that. I want to go get that One Piece, and and so they do, right? And that's the start of the Great Pirate Era, which is like it's, the age in which the story takes place. There's a bunch of ages in One Piece, right? And we're taking place in the Great Pirate Era, and in the Great Pirate Era, there's this guy called Monkey D. Luffy, and he's like, I'm Monkey D. Luffy. I'm gonna be the king of the pirates. That's what he says, because he's got this hat, and he's really cool. Everybody likes him. Everybody's like, this is the coolest guy. He's like a really friendly. He's a pal, um, and he's got this thing he can do where he can like stretch his arms and legs and body and stuff. He's made of rubber. Like, how'd that happen? Like, he's made of rubber, um, and so that he can stretch because he ate a devil fruit, and a devil fruit is basically it's like a fruit that grows like somewhere. They kind of grow in random places, but like you eat a devil fruit and you get these powers, right? There's types of devil fruits. There's paramecia type devil fruits, which make your body into like an like it gives it different properties. And then there's logia type devil fruits, which turn your body into like an element, and you're like literally made of that. Like, you're made of like lightning or smoke or whatever. And then there's zone type devil fruits that turn you into like a doggy, like like it turns you into like a dog. And the one Luffy ate, it's a paramecia type fruit, sorta, and it gives him the powers of rubber. It's called the gum gum fruit, and he can stretch his arms really really long, and everyone likes that. That's cool for him, and he comes from this island. He comes from this place. There's like a billion islands on One Piece. There's the Windmill Island, like the Fusha Village or whatever, and that's where Luffy comes from. There's this mayor guy. His name is Whoop Slap, which I think is pretty funny. It's kind of a funny name for a guy. Like, if I was a guy, I wouldn't be called Whoop Slap. I'd be called something else probably. But like, yeah. And Luffy has like this dad, right? And his name is Shanks, and Shanks is the coolest guy. Like, Shanks is the most coolest guy you've ever met, literally ever. Like, he's got like a scar on his eye, and he's got like red hair, and he's really cool. He's like, oh, Luffy, you gotta be virtuous and moral when you grow up. He doesn't say that. He's a pirate. He's actually really cool. He's like, Luffy, let's go kill people with guns. He doesn't say that either. He's a cool guy. He's like, Luffy, if someone pours a drink on you, you can't kill them. You can't, like, I know you want to, but you can't kill them with your hands if they pour a drink on you. You have to, like, be good about it, right? And Luffy's like, I hate you, man. I don't want to, shut up, you're lame. I don't want to pay attention to you. And that's when he eats the devil fruit. And Shanks is like, oh, Luffy, you ate the devil fruit that we were saving for the other guy to eat the devil fruit. There's this guy on the ship called Lucky Roo. He's funny. Uh, and then Luffy goes into the water for some reason. I forgot why he goes into the water, but he's in the water, and then there's like a monster, and the monster is like, "Rawr," and Luffy's like, oh no, it's a monster, it's gonna like eat me. And then Shanks appears because he's really strong, and he saves Luffy from the monster, but because he's really stupid and dumb, he gets his arm bited off by the big monster from One Piece. And that's pretty dumb, I think, because if I were fighting a big monster, I wouldn't get my arm bited off. Because I'm really strong and stronger than Shanks and stronger than Goku. And so yeah, that's that. And that's like the flashback. And then Shanks is like, "Oh, Luffy, you're my favorite son. I have like a daughter, but don't worry about her. She's not canon or real or whatever. Hey, Luffy, you're my favorite son. Take my hat. You have to carry on my hat like my father before me." His father was Gold Roger, by the way, or something. Wait, was it? No, wait, yeah? Someone gave him the hat. He had the straw hat, by the way. And then he gives the straw hat to Luffy, and there's like a manga panel that like white dudes have like tattooed on them, of like and it's on like a bunch of T-shirts of like him passing the hat to Luffy when he's crying and he's a baby. Um, and Luffy's at the start of the story. He's like, "I'm gonna go take on the entire world, because the world is bad, right? In One Piece, the world is bad. You don't want to, you don't want to be a part of the world of One Piece. It's kind of rough out there, you know." There's like the world government that's bad. Like they're evil. Like the government is evil. It's kind of like real life in the sense that the government is evil, and they're like, "We're gonna kill people who we don't like." And then there's like the Marines, who's like also the government, and the Marines are like, "I'm gonna punch a hole in you if you're mean to me." And then that sucks, and we hate that. And there's like also other pirates who like also suck, and we gotta kill those guys because they kill people also. uh Luffy's like, he doesn't like it when people are evil. He's like, "Stop killing people," which is pretty cool, honestly. I think if I were in One Piece, I would probably die, because people are really strong in One Piece. The One Piece is funny. It's like you can have people who are just born like 14 feet tall. Like, you know when people are like, "Oh, that's like a main character." Like you see a guy with like blue hair in a show. It's like, "Oh, yes, that's the main character," or whatever. Like in One Piece, you'll just have like a guy who's just like, "Yeah, I was born and I'm 14 feet tall, and that's just like what my life is like. Like I'm just a 14-foot tall guy." Like what are you supposed to do? You can have a guy who's like a little mole. You can have a guy who's got like green hair and lives inside of a chest, and that's just like a person in the world. You've got like animal people, because like there's like a bunch of animal people in One Piece. Like not the animal people who like ate like the zone fruits. Woof. Like it's different. There's actual people who are just animals. Uh, they're from a place called Zo, which is not zone. It's different, but it's also kind of the same. And also Zo is spelled like Zou, and you'd think it would be pronounced zoo, but it's actually Zo, because you think it'd be zoo because it's where all the animal people come from. That's a mistake that you won't make twice. I'll kill you. I'll kill you with my hands. Um, but yeah, and there's these animal people, and they're called minks, but not all of them are actually minks. Like there's like a tribe of minks, and then but they're like zebras and lions and tigers and bears and like, oh my, you know. But anyway, Luffy is on this ship, and there's like a little like pipsqueak like twerp ass. It's like dweeb there, and he's like, "Luffy, I want to be a cop," and Luffy's like, you're stupid. Don't be a cop." Oh, no, he's like, "You should be a cop." Actually, Luffy loves cops, but only the good cops. Luffy really likes cops that he likes the good apples. You know, there's like a lot of bad apples, but Luffy likes the good ones. Um, and then he punches this lady who has the ego problem, and then he which is kind of funny because, like, imagine you're just like a person, like imagine you're a normal ass person in One Piece or in really any world, and like yeah, maybe devil fruits exist. Like I've heard of devil fruits in the papers. There's like newspapers in One Piece. They get delivered by these birds, and then the person who writes all the newspapers is also a bird, but he's like a really big bird. Wait, is Morgan a mink? Wait, is Morgan a... Wait, what the hell? Is Morgan from Zoe? Or Morgan's? What's his name? Um, but yeah, there's newspapers, and you see the devil fruit in the newspaper, or you hear it, and it's like, that's not real. And then one day you wake up, and there's a guy on your ship, and he's made of rubber, and he punches you really hard, and you die. Like, what the hell, right? Like, what the hell? Like, that's not, how is that real? How is there a guy who can punch you so hard that you turn, or no, that he turns, he's made of rubber and he punches you and you just wake up one day and he punched you and he's made of rubber? Am I annoying? I'm sorry. Do you hate me? You hate me, don't you? Are you asleep yet, babe? Babe? Do you hate me? Babe? Babe, you hate me, don't you? So then he gets off that ship and he goes to a different place, and there's a guy there and he's green. There's a green man at that place, and he's like, green man, join my crew. And the green man's like, no, I'll never be a pirate. I kill pirates. I hate you. Like, I'll kill you with my hands, Monkey D. Luffy, you stupid idiot. I'll kill you. And then Luffy's like, please, like, please, like, babe. And then he just does, and then they make out, and it's cool. That doesn't happen. Well, it does if you're on if you're on like AO3 or whatever, but it doesn't happen in the real story. And then that guy's like a friend, and there's like also an orange lady, and she's okay. She's fine. Well, actually, she's pretty cool at the start. She's cool. One Piece has this problem with like women, where like a lot of them are kind of drawn the same and the same way that they're drawn. See, this is why people don't watch One Piece. This is why we can't have nice things. You know what I'm saying? Because Oda will draw these women and they look like they look like the letter I, and it's like, Oda, you can't. That's not what people look like. You're gonna make people not watch your show, and then it doesn't help that the anime is like terrible. Like the anime is like they look like they've been like subject to like a test. They look like a Russian like sleep experiment people when they're like playing volleyball. And this is why people don't like One Piece, and this is why people will never experience One Piece in their life. But um, yeah. Anyway, there's an orange lady, and she's nice. She's like, she's okay. And then, there's Usopp, and he's there. But this is boring though. I want to talk about the warlords. Okay, there's these guys, and there's like, they're the warlords of the sea. They're the coolest guys like ever, and there's 7 of them, kinda, but they're like a rotating cast. And also they're pirates. They're pirates, but they're really strong. And then they work for the government because they're like, I don't know, it's good for them or something. I don't know. It's a weird system. It doesn't really work. They abolish it later. They get rid of it because they make like little creatures. They clone them all. They clone all the people and turn them into little like children who shoot lasers out of their eyes, and so they don't need the warlords anymore. Anyway, that's like later though. That's in like 1,000 chapters. But yeah, don't worry, you'll forget that. But yeah, there's these guys, and one of them is like a bear, and he's like really cool. I love the bear. I've got a little figure of the bear. Can you hear it? I've got a little figure of him. He's really cool. It's like it's only his head, but he's really cool. I like him. And he's really cool, and he's a Christian too, which is awesome. He believes in the faith of the Lord. Which actually in One Piece we're getting into like chapter 1,000 territory here, but there's like this god. There's a lot of gods is there a lot of gods in One Piece? There's a lot of mythology in One Piece. And there's this god, he's like the sun god, Nika, and he's really cool. He's like the coolest guy ever. He's like, I'm a silly guy and I'm gonna save the world. And he's kind of like Luffy in the way that he's a silly guy and saves the world. But that doesn't matter. So don't think about that anymore. And then they're on the military base. They're at the military base from GTA 5, and they're like, we gotta get out of here, we gotta get out of here. I'm Canadian, by the way, if you couldn't tell, I'm actually Canadian. We gotta get out of here, And so they do, and there's this blonde guy, and he's really stupid, and he's really dumb, so that's him, though, but he's dumb, and then Zoro kills him with his sword, while he's, like, naked. That's still live action, though. That's like an addition. That's not actually in the story, usually. But yeah, and then they leave, and there's like 3 of them, and it's Luffy and Zoro and Nami. That's the orange one and the green one. By the way, if you didn't know, if you're watching this and you haven't seen One Piece and aren't asleep yet, babe. Yeah, there's these guys, and wait, did I even talk about the warlords? I didn't even. Oh yeah, there's like the military too. It's like the Navy, like the admirals. Um, like there's this guy who's like really annoying. His name is Kizaru. He's like the most annoying guy ever, and he's also moves at the speed of light. He's weird. He's like and like I would want to kill him. Like if I saw him in real life, I think I'd win. Like I'd power scale him. I'd have like Twitter discourse and I'd power scale, and the red rock is more iconic than the Kamehameha, and I'd win. Um, but yeah, there's this guy named Monkey D. Luffy, right? And he's gonna be the king of the pirates. And that's what he says. He says it all the time. Like, that's how he introduces himself on the phone. Oh, there's phones in One Piece, by the way. They're like snails. The phones in One Piece are made out of snails. Like, there's these little snail guys. But it's not also just phones. It's like the entire, like technology, internet waves is these little snails. And they go like, buda, 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 gotcha. You know, and when you answer it. But then there's also like snail projectors. They're called Dendenmushi, by the way. There's like snail projectors that they're not called Dendenmushi, that's the phones. And there's like snail cameras and snail phones and cameras and projectors and like TVs that are all snails. And when Luffy calls you on the Dendenmushi, he goes like better, gotcha. And he's like, hey, I'm Monkey D. Luffy. I'm gonna be the king of the pirates. How can I help you? You know, he's like a tech support, or he's like a salesman. He's selling you his wares, on the phone. And so, um, yeah, he's really cool though. He's gonna be the king of the pirates, and no one believes him. Like every time he says it, he's like, I'm gonna find the One Piece, and everyone's like, you're gonna find the One Piece, bro. Like, you literally look dumb. Like, you look dumb. Because he's like a kid. How old is he when he starts? He's like 18 or 19 or something. But he's still a kid, and he's still stupid, and he's still Luffy. And he's Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece, and he's gonna be the king of the pirates, and he has this fruit that stretches. Um, oh yeah, not everybody has a devil fruit, by the way. Oh, also there's like infinite devil fruits. Like when I first started watching One Piece when I was like 1 years old, I was like, oh, okay, well like there's like a rotating cast of devil fruits, but that's not actually how it is. Like, uh, I was like, yeah, there's gonna be like a set amount, and that's it. But then Oda's just like, also Oda's the guy who writes it. It's just one guy. It's Oda's like, he's like, here's like the jacket fruit. Why not? It's a guy who turns into a jacket. He ate a fruit, and now he has the power to turn into a jacket. And that's the guy, and that's a real guy in the series. He dies quickly. Well, actually, he doesn't die. Nobody dies in One Piece. Nobody, like, there's like four deaths. One Piece is a pacifist world, except for you can get really hurt really bad, but you don't die. Unless you're that one guy or that other guy. But those guys aren't even real guys. Um, and so there's this pirate called Monkey D. Luffy, and he has a Zoro who's like a sword, and a Nami who's something. She does stuff too. She has like a map, and she's like, look at, well, actually, I don't know what she does at this point in the story. She doesn't have her map yet. And then they go to the Usopp, and Usopp is like, hey, I'm Usopp. And then they become friends with Usopp. And Usopp has these little gremlins that he carries around with him, like, and they're like named after food. He has like these little food children that he keeps around to like do his bidding, even though he's like I guess he's like an adult. He's a teenager, and he just has these little children that follow him around, and like, you know, like, oh, we're the Usopp pirates. It's cute because Usopp's like a liar. He like tells a bunch of lies. That's like his bit. It's like Aesop. Well, actually, that doesn't make sense because Aesop didn't tell lies. He made stories, but Usopp also tells stories. He's like the boy who cried wolf, but if he was Usopp. And there's this butler, and he's like, I'm gonna kill everybody. And Usopp's like, what? And then he tells everybody that the butler's gonna kill everybody, but they don't believe him because he's Usopp and he lies a lot. And then Luffy punches him and he's gone. He's dead now. Well, he's not dead. He's actually we saw him again recently. People were like, is Kuro dead? Like people were like, maybe he's just like died, because we didn't see him for so long. Well, because like people come back in One Piece. That's like the whole thing, is that the world is consistent, and like people come back after a little while. And we were like, oh, where's Kuro? Like, is he gone? Is he in Impel Down? Impel Down's jail, by the way. And then he showed up, and he was just chilling. Actually, I don't know if cover pages are canon, but he's fine. Kuro's fine. And Usopp is like, I love my little friends, you know, and I'm gonna leave them to be with Luffy now. And this is the first time I cried at One Piece, by the way. This is about episode 12 we're on. I'm not entirely sure what chapter that is. I don't quite remember. But this is episode 12. And after that, a bunch of dumb stuff happens, and then Luffy becomes the king of the pirates and finds the One Piece. I don't know what the One Piece is. I feel like, sorry to interject my own opinion into this, but I feel like when people are like, oh, the One Piece is like this, the One Piece is that, oh, the One Piece, oh, I bet it's the friends you made along the way. Like, who cares? Like, straight up, who cares? Like, actually, genuinely, who cares? Because, like, be real with me. Be real with me for 1 second here. Do you care what the One Piece is? Like, no, you don't. Like, you might think you do if you know, are like a fake guy. But if you're a real guy, you know what you don't care what the One Piece is. Like, people are like, oh, it's like a, if you like look at like the Luffy's like eyes theory and like check like cross reference like every arc, and like the people are doing like Illuminati exposed type of like videos, or Illuminati confirmed, and like the One Piece is like a bottle of sake, or it's like it's a comic book or whatever. And it's like, man, who cares? If the One Piece is the friends we made along the way, like, whatever. Because it literally is. The One Piece is the friends we made along the way because it's so much fun to watch and read and experience the story of One Piece by Eiichiro Oda featuring Monkey D. Luffy from Fortnite. Um, but yeah, the One Piece is probably something. I don't know. Who cares? It's on an island. It's at the island at the end of the Grand... Oh, dude, the Grand Line! What the hell? Okay, so there's this place called the Grand Line. Because the story of, or the world of One Piece, it's like Earth, but it's really big. It's like Earth, but it's like 1,000 times larger. And there's like one continent, and it's like a ring. It's like Halo, but if it was awesome. And there's like an ocean around it. And like in the middle of the ring, like where the equator would be, there's just like a line that goes across the entire world. And on that line is a bunch of islands that like don't quite really make sense. You know, because there's like in the rest of the ocean, it's like, yeah, this is like, you know, like the clock still functions, and like the compass still functions, and the wind still functions. But then you get in the Grand Line, and it's like, okay, the weather is not real, and the compass points upwards, and you know, there's like a point around the Grand Line where you can't get into the Grand Line. It's like it's called the Calm Belt, and in the Calm Belt there's like a bunch of monsters in there, and you can't go to the Calm Belt. You have to get to the Grand Line through this mountain that's like a water slide. Yeah, like you have to like go up the water slide mountain, and then go into the Grand Line. I forgot why I started talking about the Grand Line, but I definitely did, and that's where the One Piece is. At the end of the Grand Line, where Monkey D. Luffy, or where Gold D. Roger, his name's Gold D. Roger, by the way. There's like a thing with like the initial letter D. Like when people have like D in their name, that means they have like a checkered fate. You know, that means like they're like special, sorta. There's like Portgoss D Ace, and Jaguar D Sol, and like Monkey D Dragon, which is like Luffy's dad, by the way. Spoilers, that's Luffy's dad. But he's like the coolest guy. Dragon is like the coolest guy. Ew, why did I say it like that? Dragon. Dragon's like the coolest guy. He can like control the weather, but also Nami can control the weather. Sorta. She has like a stick. And then there's also like wizards who can control the weather, who like live on a sky island made out of clouds, and they're like kind of weird type of guys. One Piece has a problem where there's like a pervert gag all the time. I don't remember if the weather guys are actually like that, or if that was like a dream I had. But there's these wizards that control the weather, and Nami goes there one time because she's like, I want to learn how to control the weather. It's called Weatheria, by the way, the island that controls the weather. It's like the Rainbow Factory or whatever. It's like, it's cool. And the grand piece is at the Roblox at the end of the grand piece, at the end of Raftel, at the end of the Grand Line. And everybody wants to go there. Like the Great Pirate Era is everybody trying to go to the Raftel at the end of the Grand Line. And that's what you're going to want to be doing if you're in the world of One Piece and you're a pirate. And like most of the pirates don't do it. Most of the pirates suck. It's like you'll see like pirates getting like wiped out. That's what they call it. They call it getting wiped out, or like eradicated, which is hella cool. Like the crew of Beep has been eradicated or wiped out when they get like walloped by a stronger guy, which happens a lot. Not to the Straw Hats though. The Straw Hats is the name of the pirates. So Monkey D. Luffy is the captain of, by the way, featuring Zoro and Nami and Usopp at this point in the story. There's this lady, she's like a mermaid and she's really big and she's funny. Anyway, so after they get Usopp, they go to a fish. They go to a fish. They go to a fish. They go to the restaurant and there's a man there and he's gross. He's a gross man, but some people like the gross man because uh, they, some people like the gross man, which is great. I think he's okay sometimes when he's not talking. And there's a gross man, and his name is Sanji, and he's twirly. He has twirly eyebrows, and that's his character trait. And also he's like a pervert. He's like a gross little freak. And if I could kill him, I would. But he has iron skin, so I can't kill him. He's made out of kicking people with his legs on fire. His legs catch on fire, by the way. That's like his gimmick. Not at the start, but later he's like, yeah, I'm gonna kick you so hard my leg catches on fire and it kills you really bad. Sorry, I don't know who this is for. Actually, it's for you, babe. It's for you, babe. Babe, it's for you, babe. Babe, are you asleep? Babe, do you still hate me? Like, do you love me still? Babe. Babe, you hate me, don't you? Babe. Anyway, so, sorry, someone just messaged me on Discord. Hold on. Anyway, hi chat. So, there's this guy called Lucky D. Luffy, and wow, it's 5 a.m. And he's the king of the pirates. And, and there's this guy called Lucky D. Luffy. Oh yeah, and then they go to the fish, and Sanji is like a cook. He like cooks food, which is interesting because the food has like magical properties kind of, but it also doesn't. Oh, also speaking of magical properties, there's a thing in this world called hockey, which like everyone has. They don't talk about this till later, but hockey is kind of like it's like Nen, if you're like sick like me. It's like kind of it's a band-aid in my hoodie pocket. Oh, it's Hello Kitty. Oh my god. There's like it's like the inherent force of all things, and there's different types of hockey, right? There's like conquerors hockey and observation hockey, and I forgot the rest, but there's another one. And conquerors hockey or like Supreme King hockey, I think it's called like Haoshoku or something. It's like only the specialist people have that. And like spoilers, like I don't want to say it, but like who's the specialist boy? Who's the specialist boy in the entire story? Who's the specialist boy? And the specialist boy's little boyfriend. It's Luffy and Zoro. They have Conqueror's Haki, and what Conqueror's Haki does is like, it's like the power that every like school ground boy wishes they had, where they like just look at you really hard and then you just pass out because of how freaking cool they are. And like that's literally not a joke. Like Conqueror's Haki is quite literally just this guy is so cool I can't even get near him. Like there's a bit later in the story where the enemy is like, I've cornered you, Monkey D. Luffy. I have 50,000, or no, he's like, I have 100,000 guys. Luffy, I have 100,000 people here to kill you, and there's literally nothing you can do. And Luffy's like, and he like looks at them really hard, and then they literally 50,000 like guys just collapse onto the ground, and they're like, oh god, wait, hold on, guys, I think we're losing the war. Like, guys, I think we're losing the war. And that's Conqueror's Haki. And then there's Observation Haki, which is like, it's like basic mana. Like, I can sense when there's a guy around me who's like doing stuff. I can like sense other people's Haki. But then also, if you get good enough at Observation Haki, you can see the future. You can see the future if you get good enough at it. And there's this guy, he eats donuts. And he's really good at observation hockey. He's like he's like, Luffy, I am you but better, and I can see into the future for like an entire second. Also, One Piece is kind of JoJo's, by the way, but it's not. It's cooler. And he's like, I can see into the future, and I have a really cool scarf. And then he stabs himself with the trident. And then okay, so yeah, Sanji's there, and we're at the Baratier. The Baratier is the name of the fish restaurant. Oh, and it's like we're the restaurant for pirates, and Sanji's like, I love women, which is like so true, bestie. Like I get it. Like Sanji, I love women. Like I get it. One in chat, but he's weird about it, and nobody likes him. And then he kicks this guy. And then there's this guy who walks into the place, and he's like, "Help me! Like I'm dying. I can't breathe. I didn't get any like food. I haven't eaten in like a year." And Sanji's like, I'm a good guy, I'll feed you even though I know you're a bad guy. And Luffy's like, wow, this guy's crew material. And then they fall in love, and then they kiss. Like, they go into the back room of the restaurant, and they like make out like passionately, like on screen. There's like 3 chapters of just straight up like Luffy and Sanji like just going at it. Like they're just kissing and like and like um uh, and then there's this guy called um, Don Krieg, and he's really lame, and then he dies. Um, I've decided that the live action version is canon because it's funny, because he just dies instantly. But in the actual series, he actually like fights for a while, and he's like, Luffy, I'm gonna kill you with my poison gas move. And then the guy that they helped at the restaurant earlier was like, no, I have a gas mask for you, Monkey D. Luffy. Like, chemical warfare is against the Geneva Convention. You can't do this. And then he does it. He kills him. Luffy kills him. But Luffy gets stabbed a bunch. By the way, Luffy's weak to like swords. That's his thing. Like, if you punch him, it like doesn't hurt. Except for it kind of hurts. It's kind of confusing. I think maybe it only hurts because and there's what's the other hockey? Frick. The hockey where you like code armament hockey. There's also armament hockey where your hands turn black and you can beat up people who are made of lightning. That's like the thing. Like there's conquerors and observation and armament. And the stronger you get oh yeah, and there's also like Ryo, which is like armament hockey but like punches through your skin and like beats up your organs. But that's kind of different. And the armament hockey makes it where you can hit people who are Logia fruits. If you remember what a Logia fruit is, babe, are you listening? Babe, are you listening to me? Do you love me still? Do you hate me? You hate me, don't you? And then there's this pirate, and his name is Luffy, and he's his armor hockey. Luffy's really good at all the hockeys because he's the GOAT. He's like the coolest guy. And what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Luffy and Sanji like make out for hours, and then after that, oh yeah, Luffy's weak to swords. Like if Luffy gets stabbed, he's like ow, but if Luffy gets punched, he's like ow, sorta, but not really. But sometimes it hurts. Maybe that's like armament hockey being used early. But technically, if he gets punched, it shouldn't hurt because he's made of rubber. But maybe rubber, it feels pain. I don't know. I haven't punched rubber before. And then oh yeah, there's this guy. He's like a hawk. He's like a dad. He's like Zoro's dad, but he's not Zoro's dad yet. Like he becomes, well, he doesn't. Don't listen to that. And there's this guy, and his name is Mihawk. His name is Dracule Mihawk, and he's like the coolest guy ever. And he's like, Zoro, I have a big sword. And Zoro's like, I've been waiting for you my entire life. And then they passionately make out on stream. And then Zoro is like, I want to fight you. And Mihawk is like, shut up, you're a pussy ass. And he kills him. And then Zoro dies for the rest of the story. And then Luffy resuscitates him with true love's kiss. And he comes back and Zoro starts crying. And he's like, I'll never lose to anyone ever again. And it's like a really sweet moment. I cried again, by the way. This is, I think, the second time I cried at One Piece. And he's like, I'll never lose again. And he's like got a big slash wound in him. And he's like, ouchie. I forgot what happens after this. Oh yeah, Nami leaves. Nami's like, I hate you guys, I'm gonna betray you. because she's actually the pirate of a different pirate. She's actually like a different pirate crew, even though she doesn't like pirates. Um, oh, hey, there's these guys called like the Celestial Dragons that are like hella evil. Like, they're like these rich guy like devil people, and they have like slaves, and they uh like steal people's wives, and like they're super evil. And they're really annoying. I just wanted to talk about how annoying they are. I hate them. They should all die terribly. Like, that's just it. They're like arrogant and stuff. Um, oh, also there's fish people. There's people who are fish too. But the fish people aren't part of the animal people tribe. I think minks are only mammals, maybe? Are polar bears mammals? Yeah. And then there's also fish people who like aren't actually as paralleled to different fish types as the minks are to animal types. Like you'll have a mink and it's like I'm a leopard, but you'll have a fish man and he's like I have gills and fins and I'm really strong. There's this fish man and his name is Jinbei, and he's the specialist boy ever. Jinbei is like he's the sweetest boy you've ever met. If you ever met Jinbei in real life, you should give him a big hug and a kiss. And if I met Jinbei in real life, I don't know if I'd be able. I'd kiss him so bad. Like he's literally Jinbei is my hero. He's like a shark boy. He's like a shark man, and he's really cool. He's like super nice and sweet and polite. And he's like really tall. He's like 9 feet tall too, which is like what you gotta be looking for in a man. Like, if your man's not 9 feet tall and blue and a fish, and like a samurai and not scared of Big Mom, then that's like your man's. Oh, also he can drive a ship really good, but we don't need to talk about that because we haven't met him yet because we're still in Arlong Park. Yeah, Nami leaves and she's like, I hate you guys. And then Luffy's like, no, she doesn't hate us. She's gaslighting us. And then they go and save her. And it's like really like emotional. Like you'll have guys who are like, One Piece hater reacts to One Piece. And they're like, oh yeah, this is alright. And then they get to this arc, which is like around episode 50. And they're like, wait a minute. This is the greatest thing ever. Because it's like super sweet. Like Nami has this like village and this family that she's trying to protect. Like it's revealed that she's only a part of this guy's pirate crew, so she can get enough money to buy her village back from him and save all the people in it. But the people in the village don't know that. It's like really tragic. They're like, oh, Nami, she betrayed us and joined the pirate. But Nami's like, I need to collect money for like steal from people, so I can like save my town and my sister and my family, and and Luffy's like, oh yeah, and then she finally gets the money. Like she has it. She has the amount of money that it takes to buy back her town and save every pony. And then the Marines come and steal it from her. And she's like crying. She's sobbing. She's like, you can't do this. Like that's my entire, like I've been working it out for like years and years of my life, like since I was like a child, like selling my soul and like working for people. And she's like, you can't do this. But she can't do anything. Like she's just a guy. She can't kill the Marines. She can't kill the fishmen because fishmen are really strong. She can't kill them because in the anime she can't really fight that good yet. In the live action she has like a staff, but in the anime she kind of sucks. Um, uh, and and then she's like crying, and she tells the village like, or someone tells the village. Someone tells them like what's actually been happening, and they're like, Nami, we of course will help you. Or no, actually, wait, no, yeah. They're like, we're gonna go kill Arlong. Or no, they're like, Nami, we hate. Sorry, I forgot how this part goes. But at some point, she's like crying in the streets, and Luffy's there, and she's like, Luffy, go away. Like I don't want your help. Like you can't help me. I need to do this alone. Oh yeah, and she like stabs herself too. She's like, she like stabs the tattoo of the pirate. She's like, and she like stabs herself a bunch, which is like slay. Like she like stabs herself like a bunch of times, and Luffy like grabs the knife out of her hand, and it's like, and now he's like, Luffy, go away. Like you can't help me, and then Luffy just sits there like silently, and she's like, go away, like leave, and Luffy's just standing there like watching her, and then she goes silent and she turns around and she's like crying and like tearful in and she's like, Luffy, like help me. And she's like crying and she's looking at him with this like it's like heartbroken, like crushed, sad face. And Luffy, he takes the straw hat off his head, like his prized possession, and he puts it on her head, and he goes like, "Of course I will." That line's in my brain forever. He's like, "Of course I will. Of course I'll help you." And then he goes and beats up Arlong. Arlong's the pirate, by the way. I don't know if I said that yet. And he like hits him with like a battle axe. Well, no, it's actually his foot. It's not actually a battle axe. And he like breaks his nose and stuff and kicks him through like 7 floors of like a building. And then he wins. Um, have you guys seen One Piece? Or where am I? Uh, babe, babe. um, yeah, and uh, um, um, okay, there's this guy. There's this guy called Gon from Hunter x Hunter. He's like really cool. He has really good Nen abilities and he's super strong. And he's my goat. That's my goat. He's super cool. Um and then um dude, One Piece is so good. It's so crazy how like you can have a show where it starts off, well, I guess it starts off like a Saturday morning cartoon, like it's funny and silly and like, oh, we just made a rubber, like how'd that happen? And then like by like episode 50 it's like, wait a minute, this is kind of like touching and heartfelt and serious while still being kind of silly. And then like it only gets better, it only gets better at every aspect it does for like 1,000 chapters. Like how do we live in a world where there's a series that just keeps going? Like imagine your favorite show ever, and if it's not One Piece you're stupid, but imagine your favorite show and imagine it just doesn't end, and it's like, oh, it doesn't end, that's terrible, like it's gonna get worse, but then it doesn't end and it just gets better and better and better and better for like 25 years, and it's crazy. And like it never gets stale, it never gets old. There's people in this world where they'll like introduce the concept of this person or this place like years and years and years and years ago, and then they'll just bring it back like last week, and it's like, oh my god, how did that happen? How did they do that? That's impossible. And it's not even it's just like one guy. He's just a guy. And like I know he doesn't plan it. Like I know everyone's like, oh, Oda's planning is crazy. Like I know he just goes back and sees something and he's like, oh, I should bring that back. But it's just unbelievable how few retcons there are. Like sure, maybe he didn't think of hockey until chapter like 500 or something, but it's so cool. It's so cool. And then like you'll have a guy where you just show the guy and you're like, yeah, actually I was friends with this guy like 100 years ago, and it's like, oh my god, like that guy? You're telling me the guy from like episode 60 was like on Gold Roger's crew and he just didn't tell anybody? Like you're telling me that the skeleton, well actually I don't want to spoil that yet. You're telling me that the guy was related to the other guy from like 100 years ago? From like literally from, you're telling me the thing that happened like decades ago is just mattering now? Like we're just bringing it back and we're just doing it again? You're telling me the character that got introduced just now gets like a like 5 chapter like sad backstory, and then they get introduced like into the story and they become like relevant again? It's disgusting. Like when you start off you're like, oh, he doesn't kill characters, like he's a coward, but then you see the character come back when you're like an entirely different person, like you grow up with the show and it's like, oh my god, wait a minute, this is like meaningful, this is everything, this is everything. And that's why Monkey D. Luffy is the king of the pirates and why they should put him in Fortnite. That's my pitch for Monkey D. Luffy in Fortnite. Thank you, Donald Mustard, for listening to my pitch for Monkey D. Luffy. Is the chapter of the Battle Pass. Could you imagine Luffy hitting the gritty? Could you think about that for me? Like, could you do me a favor and think about that for me? What the hell? Like, what the hell? Um, if I think that would break me. I think if I saw that, I would collapse into the dirt of the earth and return there from whence I came. I think I would go back to the mother of the sea. Oh, did I talk about devil fruits yet? And did I talk about the government? Dude, yeah, so you eat a devil fruit, right? And God hates you, like the god of the sea or whatever, because the devil fruits are like devils, you know. Well, kind of. We don't really know what devil fruits are yet. We know that they're alive, and we know that there's actual devils in the world who just exist and are like spiders and ageless and in power, and it's kind of like real life actually, where the government is made out of ageless spider demons, devils. It's like that. It's like if Joe Biden would turn into a giant spider and exploded people's heads with his mind. But that's just the long and short of it. You know what I'm saying? That's just politics, baby. That's just America. Remember to vote, by the way. Don't forget to vote if you're listening to this. Remember that this month, what day is it right now? Remember that the 2024 election is coming up, and you need to vote for your candidate. Don't be a centrist. See, that's what One Piece is about. Actually, One Piece is a socialism show. There's like a meme where it's like, what I learned from anime, and Naruto is like, make friends, and Bleach is like, you know, I don't know what Bleach is about, and Dragon Ball is like, get stronger, and One Piece is like, the government is or the military is a corrupt a militia serving the government and its corrupt power, and it can only be dismantled by a people's revolution coordinated across the world. Oh, also there's a revolutionary army in One Piece. It's led by Dragon, the cool guy who's Luffy's dad, and there's like branches of it. One of the branches is like a strange transgender character who turns people into girls. Like you have a character who like has like the most strongest trans star, and it looks at you and you're like the if you're like male failing in front of Emporio Ivankov, he'll just like stick his fingers into you and you'll just become a girl in like 10 seconds. Like, you better be careful. Like, don't let him catch your ass boy moding, or else you're getting hormone fruit, which is the devil fruit that Emporio Ivankov has. He also has a really big face, which is cool. They should make that. They should make. Did I take my meds? They should make. Did I? Did you? Babe, did you take your meds? They should make that where that's real. But yeah, it's the Revolutionary Army, and then also the bear guy is in it. Oh, and also the blonde guy who I can't tell you. Oh my god, and also Koala, dude, it's crazy. You'll just have like a character's backstory. It's like, who the hell is this? Like, a character's like incidental in someone else's story, and then they just show up again, and they're like, yeah, I'm part of the Revolutionary freaking Army, and I'm just chilling here, and I'm just a guy. Like, I'm just in the Revolutionary Army. One Piece has cool stuff in it. Dude, they should make One Piece. They should make. uh, yeah. So, and then after Arlong Park, they go into the Grand Line. After Luffy beats the Fishman and saves Nami, it's Luffy and Zoro and Sanji and Usopp and Nami going into the Grand Line, and they all put their feet on this barrel, and they're like, I would say your biggest dream, and Luffy's like, I'm gonna be the king of the pirates, and Zoro's like, I'm gonna be the greatest swordsman, and Nami's like, I'm gonna map the world, and Usopp's like, I'm gonna become a brave warrior of the sea, and Sanji's like, I'm gonna be a creep and creep on a bunch of women, I'm gonna be really annoying and creepy and gross, and I'm gonna be really annoying, and I hope that I really like women. Ooh. And then they go up the mountain and they go into the Grand Line, and at the start of the Grand Line, there's a whale. There's a whale at the start of the Grand Line, and they're like, "Oh my god, a whale!" And he's really cute. It's a really big whale, and the whale is like, he's like harming. He's like hurting himself. He's like, he's ramming his head like against like a wall a bunch. Which like, girly, we've all been there. And the whale's like, "I'm depressed. I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna ram my head against the wall until I bleed." And Luffy's like, "No." And Luffy saves the whale. Luffy draws his like face on the whale and punches him, and that saves the whale. That the whale's like happy now. He's like, "Oh, an opponent. I'm gonna fight this guy." And then Luffy's like, "Oh, I'll come back after I beat the Grand Lion, and I'll fight you." And the whale stops. The whale like it's clean now. It's good. Um, Oh yeah, and there's these little freaks who are in the whale. They're like really annoying. They're like Mr. I forgot their names. Like Miss Wednesday and Mr. I don't know. He's really annoying. Mr. Nine? Is it Mr. Nine? I think it's Mr. Nine. I don't know. These people aren't even real. Uh, and Luffy is like, these people are weird, but okay. And um, did you know that fun fact. Fun fact. Uh, I think that One Piece is really good and I like it. And I think that if I had not ever started One Piece, I think I'd be a worse like person, just in general. Like maybe not like morally or whatever. Like I don't think One Piece has like, stopped me from like eating babies or whatever. Like I think I'd be still the same person. Oh my god, I forgot about Orange Town. Sorry, that's the other time I cried in One Piece. There's in Orange Town. This is like at the start, by the way. This is like I skipped this arc because I don't. There's a clown. I skipped this arc. It's like right at the start, and there's this little dog. I don't remember the dog's name. It's like Richard or something. He has a funny dog name, and he's a really sad like little dog, and which is like same bestie, like same bestie. And it's this really sad little dog because the clown burnt down the dog's home, which is like a pet store, and like I think he killed the dog's like owner friend. I don't really remember, but he burned down the dog's house, and the dog is like crying, and the dog is really sad. It's like a really sad scene, and then Luffy beats the hell out of him. Luffy kills him, and takes his body away. Luffy like splits his arms off of him, and takes them, and that's awesome. That's like so Luffy core of him, bestie. That's so cool of him to do that. It just saves the little doggy, and that's like the second actual time I cried at One Piece, and then the third time is Alling Park. Actually, the third time is probably like the Luffy like Tasukete, like the help me, and then like the fourth time is probably Luffy beating Arlong, and like popping out of the rubble and being like, "Nami, you're my friend," and everyone's crying, and they love each other, and they're hugging, and it's really sweet. Is there anything I forgot to talk about? I talked about devil fruits. I talked about the world. I talked about the Grand Lion. There's multiple paths in the Grand Lion. Oh, by the way, there's like these big rocks. They're called poneglyphs. Only some people can read them. Only like Nico Robin can read them because she's hot and famous, and cunty and slaying, and the goat, and has a lot of hands, and only she can read them. And they're like big rocks that are spread around everywhere that are written in like an ancient language. And they're like, yeah, there's also ancient weapons. There's like 4 ancient weapons. One of them's called Pluton. I don't remember the other ones. And they're kind of trying to find these. One of them's a boat. I don't know. There's a lot of space themology in this show. And there's 4 poneglyphs that are like the road poneglyphs. And you have to find the 4 road poneglyphs to like X marks the spot, the location of the One Piece. That's how they find it. Right now in the story, they have like a couple of them. Also, there's aliens, by the way. There's like moon people, because there's a guy who lives on the moon because Luffy beated him so bad, and he flies to the moon, and he has these little moon friends people. Those are cool. They're like little like gremlins that live on the moon, and you can like see them sometimes. I hope One Piece goes to space next. That would be cool. Like, imagine this arc ends with them just like, how are we gonna escape the Navy? We gotta get on like a freaking rocket ship and go into space. They'll never catch us there. And they go to the moon. Dude, that'd be so fire. Like, imagine. Oh my god, imagine the Earth is flat in One Piece, and Luffy's like, oh my god. Imagine they can. Imagine. Oh, that was a good crack. Imagine you can see the Earth from One Piece. From. Is it called the Earth? Is there a name for the Earth in One Piece? This, like, does the planet have a name that isn't Earth? Hold on. What's the planet in One Piece called? They haven't named the planet? That's crazy. The world is an as of yet unnamed planet on which One Piece takes place. Whoa. That's so interesting. I wonder if it's ever referred to as Earth. Also the Sky Islands, by the way, like a bunch of them. Oh, and also there's like fish, there's like a fish island at the bottom of the ocean. And also on the red line, that's like where the bad guys are. Did I talk about the red line? The red line's the continent, by the way. There's like, oh yeah, there's 4 quadrants of the Earth. There's like, it's not the Earth, it's the unnamed planet. But there's 4 quadrants. There's the North Blue and East Blue and South Blue, and the other direction, the waffles. And Luffy's from, I think, the East. I mean, you can put me on like on a stick in the comments if you want to, but I think Luffy's from the East. And yeah, that's not really important, but there's a lot of places in One Piece. How many islands in One Piece? I wonder how many to 20 million. Okay, I don't know if there are 20 million islands. That's like a little bit outlandish. I don't know. That's a lot of islands. I don't know if there's actually that many. Oh yeah, did I even talk about the freaking Yonko? There's like there's also 4 emperors, by the way. So like the power structure is like the world government. Well, actually, okay. I'm not going to talk about the thing. If you know the thing, I'm not going to talk about the thing. But there's like there's the 5 elders, which control the world government, which controls the navy, which has like 3 admirals, and there's like fleet admirals and like I don't know, sergeants. I forgot what they're called, and that's like that navy. And then I forgot where I was going. Oh yeah, and then for the pirates, there's like the Yonko, which is like the 4 emperors, and these guys are like really strong. Like at the start of the story, it's like these guys are the biggest guys. Like, how are we gonna kill these guys? And then when Luffy gets strong enough to actually kill the guys, it's like, oh my god, I'm a whole different person now. You know, like my life has changed so much during the course of experiencing and partially as a result of this story. And like now Luffy is as strong as these 4 emperors that were set up to be like gods in the start. And then underneath that, there's the 7 warlords, there's the Shichibukai, and then under that there's like the pacifistas, which are like a set of robots that are all clones of the same guy. They're not actually pacifists. They're called pacifists because he's a pacifist, but the robots aren't pacifists. They're actually really evil because the military controls them, the navy. And yeah. Oh, also the celestial dragons are like near the top too. It's like elders and celestial dragons who like have command over everything because they're rich and come from old money. They're like old money B word, you know, like they're bad. We don't like them. And we shoot them with guns for fun when we can. And yeah, that's about the power structure of One Piece. Yeah. And then at some point they get rid of the 7 warlords because they have like clones of the 7 warlords that are like children, and they have wings and shoot lasers, and that's real. And babe, babe, are you listening, babe? Babe, do you hate me? No, you hate me, don't you? Oh my god. Oh my god, you hate me, don't you? You hate me so bad. That's it. I am going to sleep. You hate me so bad. I know you do. I know you hate me. Oh my god. I know you hate. What time is it? Oh my god, I'm going to sleep. Goodbye. Good night, babe. Sleep good. Thank you so much for watching my video. uh,